When I was 4 years old, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. He spent many long days and nights in the hospital fighting Hodgkin's lymphoma with a bleak prognosis. He almost didn't leave that hospital bed, but one day he turned a corner, completed treatment, and was declared cancer-free. Shortly after this celebration, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and she learned she was pregnant. Her choice: she could abort my sister and start treatment with a much better chance of survival, or wait, let the cancer grow and begin once the baby was born. She chose to keep the baby and wait to start treatment until after my sister was born. This time, her cancer clinic became a second home. My memories of this time are vivid, as I spent a great amount of time caring for her and my new baby sister. We had some adult help, but my dad went back to work and I was the default caregiver. I missed a lot of school because someone had to be at home taking care of my mom. I helped shave her head when her hair started to fall out. I pushed her wheelchair around when she could no longer walk. And when she didn't want feeding tubes in her, I made her bottles so she could eat. She mostly lived in a recliner in our living room, not wanting to be in a hospital bed. One night, I climbed into her chair and told her she could go to heaven and that we would be okay. She died the next day. I was 7 years old. My dad remarried a couple years later. We moved, I changed schools, then our family started attending the Mormon church. We had never been to church before. This church taught the better I was, the greater I was seen in God's eyes. This seemed appealing to me, being a rule follower by nature. I made the decision to get baptized into the Mormon church, following in my new stepmom's footsteps. But the night before my scheduled baptism, I felt in my heart this was not the truth and I needed to walk away. My family continued going to that church for some time, but I never returned. Fast forward to my senior year in high school. My best friend, the closest and most precious person to me, was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma. I was devastated. All the feelings that I had watching my parents fight this disease came rushing back in full force. Was I going to see another person I loved die? Did I have some kind of bad luck? I went back into caretaker mode over the next couple years. Although I was not involved in her day-to-day care, I tried to go to as many doctor appointments that I could. I went to the hospital daily during long-term chemo treatments and multiple surgeries. I didn't have to face the reality of her future if I stayed busy trying to cheer her up. She fought hard, but eventually passed away on April 1st, 2004. The next few years, I lost so many more people. My cousin, my aunt, my grandparents. I started losing count. Going to funerals, constant grieving, that became the norm for me. I struggled understanding this. Why were so many people dying all around me? I wrestled with bitterness, desperate for answers. But this is where I want to share something beautiful with you. You see, prior to my mom passing, my unbelieving parents had placed me in a private Christian school. To this day, I have no idea why they did that. Yet it was in this context I heard the gospel and at a young age gave my heart to Jesus. I have felt his abiding presence with me my entire life. He was with me when my dad got sick. He sustained me and walked with me in the midst of my mom dying. He gave me discernment and saved me from embracing a false religion. He gave me strength to support my best friend in her deepest need and help piece together my broken heart time and time again. And what's more, he began whispering to my heart. I felt him telling me, I made you for this. I allowed you to experience these things for a reason. Don't miss it. It's not just a series of really sad events. I created you to do something with these things. It's not in spite of it all. It's because of it all. As I prayed what that could be and asked Jesus to help me see what I could possibly do, he led me to the profession I never knew I always wanted. I started walking with other families who were grieving. I helped children understand their new cancer diagnosis. I empathized with siblings and parents as they saw their family members fight this awful disease. I helped make an anxiety-ridden, scary time a little less frightening. The Lord allowed me to comfort others with the same comfort I received from him. He redeemed the sad, broken moments of grief and replaced them with an extraordinary joy in serving others. Friends, the only one capable of doing such a great work in any person's life is Jesus. I had multiple opportunities to doubt God's goodness, to lose hope, or just sit in my pain and not grow from it. All of that could have been justified. I had the excuses, but God refused to leave me in my pain. He went before me and behind me. He called me out of the pit of despair and set my feet upon the rock of truth. Don't listen to the lie that the world speaks about pain and loss. God is good. He is kind. Come to him. Give him your burdens and find rest for your soul. He is the great Redeemer.